Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really embarking on something special, a journey into the life and, of course, the music of a true icon.
Absolutely. Someone whose name alone just conjures up so much. Ozzy Osbourne.
Exactly. And you've given us this fantastic stack of sources, including this essential song collection. It really helps unpack, what, a half-century plus career?
At least, yeah, it's an incredible longevity.
So our mission today, I think, is to distill the essence of this Prince of Darkness. Not just the headlines, the loud, wild moments everyone knows.
Right. Go a bit deeper.
Yeah, uncover the surprising facts, maybe the emotional depths in the music, and that connection he built. It's lasted generations.
It really has.
We want you to understand how this kid from Birmingham, England, became this global phenomenon, basically defined a genre, and somehow kept reinventing himself again and again.
And what's really fascinating, I find, is looking at the songs themselves. They're not just tracks, are they? They feel like chapters.
Chapters of his story.
Yeah, a really personal, often pretty turbulent story. We'll explore how the music reflects, his persistence through addiction, the connection with the audience.
And even the unexpected stuff, like reality TV later on.
That too. But it all starts, incredibly, with something as simple as a handwritten flyer in a shop window.
Okay, let's unpack that. A teenage dropout in Aston, Birmingham. Loves the Beatles, apparently. Posts a flyer looking for a band. Seems so small.
Most quaint, yeah.
So what happens? How does that spark what we now call heavy metal?
Well, it raises that question, doesn't it? How did this unlikely group, Osbourne, Geezer Butler on bass, Tony Iommi on guitar, Bill Ward on drums, how did they find that sound?
Yeah, it wasn't obvious.
Not at all. And the story goes, it kind of clicks when Tony Iommi sees these huge lines outside cinemas showing horror films.
Ah, okay. Market research almost.
Pretty much. He figured people wanted something darker, more unsettling in their music, too. So they wrote the song Black Sabbath, named after that 1963 horror
The
film.
Boris Karloff one.
That's the one. And boom, their 1970 self-titled debut album drops, and a genre is basically born.
I was really struck going through the material by the descriptions of Ozzy's voice back then. Like a forlorn, unpolished moan.
Yeah, not your typical rock singer.
Not at all. But perfect for those occult lyrics. Yet on stage, totally different, almost bubbly, grinning, clapping.
It's that duality, isn't it? It kind of dispelled any real menace. You've got this dark, heavy music, but the frontman is almost approachable.
Yeah, and if we connect that to the bigger picture, that contrast became his trademark, really. It followed him throughout his whole career.
It absolutely did. It let people into the darkness without being, actually scared off. He was this relatable anti-hero. Let's dive into some of those early Sabbath tracks where you really hear it.
Okay, where do we start?
Well, got to start with Black Sabbath itself, from the first album, 1970. Only their second original song, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah. But it opens the album and just nails it. That riff, instantly sinister. And the lyrics about this Reaper figure, Ozzy's delivery is so vivid.
And that came from Geezer Butler's Nightmare.
Exactly. Butler told him about it, and Ozzy just brought that horror story to life. It wasn't just singing, it was storytelling.
Okay, so building on that, same year, 1970, they released Paranoid. And War Pigs is on there, another heavy hitter.
Definitely. And here you really hear Ozzy's voice amplifying Butler's lyrics, which were a response to the Vietnam War. Very potent stuff.
You can hear how his voice kind of answers those huge, simple power chords from Iommi.
Those two-chord stabs, yeah. Classic Sabbath. And Ozzy delivers those lines about battlefield horror with this slight vibrato at the end.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's dramatic, but not like operatic wailing.
Exactly. It keeps it grounded and raw.
And also from Paranoid, you've got Iron Man. Sabbath at its absolute heaviest, maybe?
Could be. That main riff just stomps along like the heavy boots of lead in the lyrics. Butler wrote this whole sci-fi story.
About this guy nobody wants.
Yeah. Right. And Ozzy mirrors Iommi's guitar melody for most of it. But then in that turnaround section, he belts out this really mournful line. Nobody wants him. He just stares at the world.
Yeah, that really hits home, the loneliness of it.
Captures it perfectly.
But it's amazing, isn't it? They do these long, heavy, complex songs, and then they toss off Paranoid.
Huh. Yeah, the title track, their biggest hit single, highest chart position.
And it was basically an accident.
Pretty much. They needed another 3 minutes or so to fill the album. The producer asked for something quick. They apparently wrote it in like 20 minutes.
Incredible.
And it's this really direct, catchy rocker about mental anguish. Inspired by Butler's own struggles with depression, Ozzy's high-pitched, almost desperate delivery Can you help me occupy my brain?
It just connects and stayed in their set list forever.
For nearly 50 years, Ozzy even said in his memoir something like, "None of us thought it was anything special, but bloody hell, it was catchy."
Shows you never know, right?
You really don't. It proved they had this knack for pure hooks alongside the doom.
So one more from the Sabbath era before we move on.
Yeah, let's touch on changes from 72 off Fall 4, because this shows a completely different side.
The ballad side.
Exactly. Piano-driven, real tearjerker. And it kind of became the blueprint for Ozzy's solo ballads later on.
His voice works surprisingly well for it, that sort of guileless whine, as the sources put it.
It does. It fits the R&B feel almost. And the lyrics, again by Geezer Butler, were about Bill Ward going through a tough breakup.
Ah, so really personal.
Very. And that emotion kept it alive. Ozzy later do it as a duet with his daughter Kelly.
I remember that.
And there's an amazing, heart-wrenching cover by the soul singer Charles Bradley, too. Really powerful stuff.
Okay, so things are huge for Sabbath, but then 1979, they fire Ozzy. Offstage excesses is the quote.
Yeah, that must have felt like the absolute end for him. Rock bottom.
You'd think so. But this is where the story gets really interesting, isn't it? Because that firing, it becomes this catalyst.
A massive turning point. And a huge part of that turnaround was Sharon Arden.
Who becomes Sharon Osbourne, his wife and manager.
His rock, really. She didn't just comfort him. She actively helped him build something new. Put together a solo band.
And crucially, found Randy Rhoads.
The linchpin. This young, brilliant guitarist. And suddenly, 1980, Blizzard of Oz comes out. It's not just a comeback. It makes Ozzy an even bigger star globally. Total reinvention.
Let's talk about some of those solo tracks then. Crazy Train has to be first.
Absolutely. So picture Ozzy, fired, depressed, thinking his career's over. Then he meets Randy Rhoads.
Who was classically trained, right? Very different background.
Totally different, and it just ignites something. Crazy Train becomes his debut solo single, probably his defining song.
The lyrics by Bob Daisley touch on political stuff. The Cold War, maybe.
Yeah, but with Ozzy's delivery and Rhoads' almost joyful, kind of frantic riffs, it sounds less like politics and more like Ozzy's life. Always in danger of jumping the tracks. A personal manifesto.
Right. Then there's Suicide Solution, also from Blizzard of Oz. That one caused a lot of trouble.
Oh, yeah. Huge controversy. Lawsuits, bad PR.
But the sources are clear. Ozzy and Bob Daisley didn't intend it that way.
No, they always maintained it was a warning against alcoholism. Inspired by Bon Scott of AC/DC dying.
And the key is that solution means liquid, like alcohol solution, not.
Not a way out, exactly. It's Ozzy howling about the dangers of booze over these really heavy, swaggering Rhoads riffs. Very raw, very intense.
Okay, so then the unthinkable happens. Randy Rhoads dies in that plane crash in '82.
Just tragic, a massive blow. Ozzy spends the next few years kind of experimenting, trying different lineups.
Yeah, searching for that magic again. And then Shot in the Dark comes out in '86.
Right, from the Ultimate Sin album. It's a different sound, more moody, streamlined, kind of poppy for him.
And it wasn't even written for him originally.
No, but he makes it his own. And it becomes his first solo single to actually crack the Billboard Hot 100 in the U.S.
Shows his skill, right? He could sell a song, even if it wasn't his usual style.
Definitely showed his adaptability.
Then, his biggest U.S. hit single ever comes a bit later, '88. Close My Eyes Forever.
Yeah, the duet with Lita Ford, which apparently just came about because they were hanging out in the studio.
Really? Just a casual thing.
Seems like it. And their voices worked incredibly well together. Ozzy hitting really high notes, Lita with that husky power.
A proper power ballad. Shows his range again.
Definitely. But speaking of duets...
Uh-oh. What else is lurking in the sources?
Well, you mentioned unexpected collaborations. Remember Miss Piggy?
Wait, you're serious? The Prince of Darkness sang with a Muppet.
He absolutely did. Less commercially successful than the Lita Ford one, obviously.
Oh, that's quite the image. Ozzy and Miss Piggy. Okay, wow.
It's a fun bit of trivia. Shows he didn't always take himself too seriously.
Clearly not. Okay, moving swiftly on. 1991, No More Tears album. Mama, I'm Coming Home.
Ah, yeah. Another huge ballad for him. Massive MTV hit. Rootsy feel this time.
Co-written with Zakk Wylde, his guitarist then. And Lemmy from Motorhead helped with the lyrics.
That's right, Lemmy fleshed him out. And Ozzy said the title itself, Mama, I'm Coming Home, was literally what he used to say to Sharon on the phone when a tour was ending.
Oh, that makes it really personal, doesn't it? Very relatable.
Totally. Adds that layer of genuine emotion.
So as we get into his later career, there seems to be more of that, right? More reflection.
Definitely. A noticeable shift towards introspection. Looking back, it shows there's way more depth there than just the Prince of Darkness caricature.
So how does that play out in the more recent music?
Well, take Ordinary Man from 2020. The title track of that album, it's very much in that changes mold, looking back on his life in the spotlight.
With gratitude, but also some sadness.
Exactly. Melancholy, I think, is a good word. The lyrics are really quite poignant. Don't forget me as the colors fade. When the lights go down, it's just an empty stage.
Wow. Heavy stuff.
And the production is huge. Strings, choirs recorded at Abbey Road, Slash plays a solo, Elton John's on it.
Elton John. Okay.
Yeah, playing piano and singing a verse, it feels like a real statement piece. Very mature, very vulnerable Ozzy.
And then just 2 years later, 2022, we get Patient Number 9, off what might be his final album.
It seems that way, yeah. And this track feels like almost a culmination. He's back to that theme of mental distress, playing this character in an institution.
I'm not getting that alive. That's tough.
It is. But again, the cast is incredible. Jeff Beck plays guitar on it, one of his last recordings.
Rah.
And Ozzy himself, he still sounds like Ozzy, that brooding intensity, but also those undeniable hooks. After 50-plus years, he's still belting it out, still unmistakably himself.
It really underscores, doesn't it, how he kept tackling these complex themes, using that unique voice to express really deep emotions, mental states.
Right to the end, it seems. There's an artistic honesty there that's quite remarkable, especially given everything he's been through.
What an absolutely incredible journey we've traced. From that flyer in a shop window
To defining a genre.
becoming this global icon, we've seen how his voice, those amazing collaborators he found, and just his sheer ability to reinvent himself kept him relevant.
Yeah, and all the while the songs were chronicling his life, the struggles, the triumphs, all laid bare with this honesty that just resonated.
It really did. And connecting it to the bigger picture, like you said, it's not just music history, it's about human persistence, isn't it?
Totally. Through addiction, through loss,
Or-
through massive changes in the industry, and that ability to connect with fans, new generations discovering him.
And how art can grow and change with the artist.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for you listening?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that reminder, even when things feel like an absolute dead end.
Like getting fired from Sabbath.
Yeah. It can actually be a springboard. If you have that resilience, maybe a bit of help, it can lead somewhere totally new, totally defining.
Which kind of leaves us with a question for you to think about, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How do artists, especially ones known for being raw, maybe a bit controversial early on, how do they manage to keep that authentic voice, that connection, while constantly changing and staying relevant for, well, for over half a century?
Like a really good question to ponder. How do they keep it real for so long?